Hello everyone and welcome, it is Retro Kaiser here and welcome to a Ricer's Stolen EG6 Honda Civic. And man oh man, okay, this is another update video, regarding the 1.2 update. Alright, the Porsches, yes sir, as a Porsche fanboy, this is a dream come true. Everything has come true, yes, the things that I was, lusting for in my dreams has finally come true in MRT. The Porsches actually feel like Porsches now. They're not pancakes with no maple syrup. They are absolutely luxurious, well done steaks at this point with some nice fine wine. Now, why am I saying that? I'm saying that because the 1.2 update has screwed over a really large number of cars, but the Porsches, okay, I mean, like, the Porsches have entered Super Saiyan territory at this point. Like, if the Testarossa was Goku, he would be normal Goku right now, and if the Porsches were Goku, he would be pretty much near about Super Saiyan 3 right now. So you get the idea of what I'm talking about. The Porsches are entering a different level of performance, as the Porsches should be. Now, I went ahead and reviewed both of the Porsches, the 993 and the 964, on C1 and on Ichikawa, and I did go to Otsuki, but I ended up dying in every corner. Now on C1, the 993 is finding great popularity. I mean, as soon as you enter the server, you're going to be seeing the leaderboard filled with the 993, like from 1 to 10 at least.
Fast as fuck, boy!
The car is making really good rounds and it is giving out great performance and it has great stability. Now, I personally drove the 993 and man oh man, you can rely on the all-wheel drive system on this Porsche because it doesn't spin out. It feels stable at high speeds, and the best thing about, the 993 after the update is the power upgrade. It really needed that power upgrade from before. I mean, before it was a naturally aspirated engine with no turbo, but now it gets a sweet turbo. It has way more power than before, and it can hit speeds up to 300 on the down slopes of C1. Now that is a really long way from what we've experienced with the 993 in the past, so basically the previous Porsche video on which I shitted on the Porsches is now obsolete. Now the Porsches have become golden, like they're gold plated at this point. So the 993 is going to give you great results on C1. I mean, you can easily, go for a sub 340 time. I mean, even without trying. Even if it's your first time going on C1 with the 993, boy, you're gonna have fun and you're gonna get some good times. So, is the 993 beginner friendly? Now, that is something which is gonna shock you. Yes, it is beginner friendly now. You can actually learn how to drive fast on C1 using the 993 because it is hella stable now. Before, whatever jitteriness the car had, it is now gone. It is pretty much like a stable car, and man, if you tune the 993, boy oh boy, you're gonna be having some like astronomical results. I mean, dude, you can pretty much go up to 311 with the times on C1, and people have. The 993 is now an OP car, and if you don't have it in your garage, dude, what are you doing? Get a Porsche. I mean, it is basically the Bugatti of MRT at this point. The 993 isn't that great on the Toge. Now this is where stuff starts to get different. On C1 at high speeds, I mean, this is great for, like wide roads where you can bash into the corner with, around about 250 kilometers per hour. But on Ichikawa, the tight corners on Turnpike and Keikokuduro is like a totally different story. I mean, it suffers. It suffers from understeer. There is no oversteer with the Porsches, which, there is oversteer with the 964, but not with the 993. There's no, oversteering, stuff going on with the 993, but there is massive understeer like every other car with the 993 on Ichikawa. But there is something you can actually use to sort of compensate for that, by adding a bit of slip to your car by drifting around, by turning the traction control of the 993 off. It actually makes the car a bit more usable, and somehow it generates a bit of oversteer, just enough to make you go through the corners smoothly. Now the times are pretty good on Ichikawa. I mean, if you tune up the suspension of the car, I believe it'll be able to do better. So the 993 people, it is a proper performer car now. So you can 100% keep it on your list and aim to buy a Porsche 993 and MRT if you want some good results and a reliable, stable car for C1. And if you want to go on Turnpike, then well, you should tune the 993 before you go over there, and do not go near Keiko Kuduro or Otsuki with the 993, because I did, and well, I don't know, skill issue or not, but I died, okay? I died over there. Like, my Roblox character was like wondering, dude, just, get it over with. Now let's talk about the 964 for a bit. Now the 964 is basically still an acquired taste for everyone. You see, the 993 is a really forgiving car now. I mean, unless you really push it and it really snaps. Otherwise, it's a really forgiving car. If you are looking at the 964 on the other side, the 964 is a challenging car, I'm gonna say that, because it still carries over a few characteristics from its previous iteration before the 1.2 update. Now what are they? They are the still snappy nature. I mean, it can still spin on you, and it loves to spin. It still loves to spin. The 964 is a lot more better than before, I'll say that. The 964 has better control, of course. It has better power, way better power. I mean, the previous iteration had just turbo lag and no power whatsoever. So looking at this one, after the 1.2 update, the 964 is really a contender now. But here comes the bigger thing. The bigger thing which comes around here is that it is very dangerous in terms of messy driving. Now, by messy driving, I mean if you're not putting in clean laps, right, around C1, then you're in for a big ride, because you'll be spinning out left and right. The 964 has a thing which I don't understand. No other car does this. I mean, I've driven all the other cars on C1, but still, I've encountered nothing like this. If you even touch a wall slightly, like if your front bumper or rear bumper even like just goes close to the wall and just touches it for like 1 second, you're just gonna spin. Nothing can save you from spinning at that point, and I don't know why. The spin that starts there, the 964 just totally goes out of control and you just can't recover from it, no matter what you do. So that is something you need to be really cautious about if you're driving the 964 on C1. So the 964 is pretty good on C1. It is just, I mean, all the tests I've done, it is just 1 second slower from the 993, and it is due to the fact that, it's a struggle to keep it calm and controlled in the corners, and it just stays stable on the straights, but the corners is where you really have to stay cautious with the 964, otherwise you'll be spun out and in the guardrail. So, is the 964 beginner friendly? No, the 964 is nowhere near beginner friendly. I'd suggest the 964 is for people who are already used to driving and are looking for a bit of a challenge whenever they drive on C1. Now, coming down to Ichikawa, well, the 964 is pretty much like, a death trap on Ichikawa, because the problem that comes around is, once again, understeer. The car doesn't want to turn for some weird reason, and if you do try and turn too hard, you just spin. You'll be spinning out left and right if you push the car too hard on Ichikawa. Now, I did go down to Keiko Kuduro and Otsuki, and well, it's the same story, people. It is just, in stock form, none of the Porsches are really good for Toge. I mean, if you can tune it up, maybe change it around, it will work. But then again, that factor is still coming up that those cars are way too fast for Toge. By the time you realize you have to brake, the brakes aren't that great on these cars that you'll instantly stop. Like if you're driving a DC5 downhill, of course the DC5 will be better than the 964. So coming down to the conclusion, are any of the Porsches worth it now? They are 100% worth it, people. The 964, the 993, 100% buy it if you want a serious performance car or a meta car that is, really buffed up for this update. I mean, trust me, you're gonna have lots of fun. And if you're really thinking about Toge, I would suggest you just look for something else, because the Porsches, they're great for high-speed racing, but they aren't that good for, calculated turns, hairpin turns, or, sharp turns like on Otsuki or Keiko Kuduro, or even Turnpike. You'll just be facing understeer, or you'll just be spitting out due to, the attempt to drift, but the car is just, just shoots out. So bear in mind, the Porsches are good for C1, Yatabe, and somewhat Turnpike, but they're not that good for city events, Toge, or, Ichikawa. So Do avoid those if you are really thinking about using your stock Porsche. Just go to C1, it'll be much more better. But if you really want to hit the Toge with the Porsches, I will suggest tune up the springs, tune stuff up, and then hit the Toge. So that is it for this video, people. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I mean, I'm really glad you've all been loving the videos recently. So yeah, do hit that like button if you've enjoyed this. Do hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my other uploads. And I'm Retro Kaiser, and I'll be signing off. I'll see you guys in the next video.